Thank you. Commissioner, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, councilors. Hope everyone is well and your families and you're staying safe. So today's update, you know that the total cases in the Commonwealth is 106,151, probable 4,497, confirmed 1,652. Hampden County, 6,518, which is 6.14% of the state. Springfield is now 2,553, which is 39.17% of Hampden County and 2.40% of the state. The deaths, 7,734. Hampden County, 645, which is 8.34% of the state. Springfield is now 115 deaths, 17.83% of Hampden County, and 1.48% of the state. Deaths in Springfield, the white deaths are 55, the Hispanic deaths are 32. 55 is 47.82% of the 115. 32 are Hispanic, which is 27.82% of the 115. Black is now 26, which is 22.60% of the 115, and 2 Asians, 1.73%. Of our data, 54 were in long-term care facilities in addresses that we've identified, which is 46.95%. 61 is our residential, which is 53.04% of the total. I will also say to you that 5,000 masks have been delivered this morning to the Department of Elder Affairs. We have not talked about yet a distribution system because we believe that individuals are going to need to come and pick them up, but we will talk today about how we can best make that happen. Homelessness, there is no update. There have been no additional positive cases reported. And so, counselors, I'm happy to answer questions, but that is the update.
You're muted, Justin. You're muted.
Tom, did you have an update on your end, sir?
No, I think we can go right to the questions. I know we got budget hearings coming up next week, so we'll all be prepared for that.
Okay, sounds good. Are there any questions?
Sorry, Council President, I know you and I talked about, I don't know if you shared with.
I haven't shared it yet, but to the counselors that are on the Zoom call, we are going to go to every other week from this point forward, and we might drop it down to once a month, but certainly every other week as we go through the summer. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll circle back around to it probably come September. If we don't need to do it every other week, then we won't. Are there any questions from the council?
I have one question. Am I muted or not?
You're live. We can hear you.
I'm live. Okay. I'm driving in the car. That's why I can't really manipulate this thing. I guess my question would be to Helen and to Tom, what is the biggest challenge right now? I mean, our numbers seem to be pretty good and all that, if there's such a thing as pretty good in this horrible thing. But what's the biggest challenge? Is it getting people to comply with City Hall procedures, or is it wearing masks in stores, or, you know, now that stores and restaurants are opening and all that, is that the challenge? What would you say, Helen, that is the biggest challenge your staff is facing?
Well, the biggest challenge, I think you've hit some of them. One is to make sure our residents continue to be compliant around wearing face covering, hand washing, social distancing. We have had good compliance from the restaurants and the stores right now. If you go to the stores in the city of Springfield, we find that most of the, if not all of the stores are compliant about not letting individuals into the stores without face coverings. The residents have been very good about calling us and letting us know when that does not happen. The challenge moving forward that I'm concerned about is that our numbers are good, and I don't want people to relax. There is the potential in the fall, as you know, combined with flu season, unless we have a vaccine, that we could see a spike. I think the other thing that I'm concerned about, while I certainly support and understand the protests that are going on, Council President, I was happy to see you with your face covering on, so thank you. I am just asking individuals if they're out and about and are participating in protests to wear face coverings and social distance to the point that they can, because we do not want to see a spike in our numbers.
Okay.
From a City Hall opening perspective, Councilor, that's actually going very well. The appointments, procedures that we put in place have been very, very smooth, and we check on that daily to see the response from the public, and they're pleased with the way it's going and setting up appointments and carrying on, and we think that that's a safe way for us to conduct business for the time being, and it's going very well. And as Helen indicated, complacency is going to be something that we're concerned with. I find myself sometimes, forgetting, the numbers are 2 and 3 and 7, and you think that we're through the worst of it, but we have to be careful to make sure that the public doesn't think that, because as Helen said, it could come back around again. So we have to fight complacency and the urge to get your guard down.
And the other thing I would say, and I said this last week, that all of the appointments that are in City Hall, those appointment lists are forwarded to my office. In the event we have to do contact tracing, which we continue to struggle with, just making sure people understand it's important to tell us who they have been in contact with so that we can follow up. But as our numbers go down, obviously the number of contacts go down a bit as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Ramos, followed by Councilor Gomez.
Just in line to what we're talking about with complacency and adhering to the face mask requirement, I'm just looking for an update on the mask for seniors.
Yes, I'm sorry that you didn't hear me. I did say that when I gave my report. We today received 5,000 masks, face coverings that were, well, we've received more as a city, but 5,000 have been distributed to the Department of Elder Affairs this morning. And so they have them on site. We will talk about a distribution process. We believe that individuals are going to need to pick them up, but that distribution strategy has not been, is not concrete at this point.
Okay, thank you for the update.
Councilor Gomez.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Colton, I just wanted to ask you, now that we're at the height of vacation season and we're opening up in different phases, and I know that early on during the pandemic, we were telling folks that if they were coming from different locations, we were asking them to kind of quarantine themselves. Are we still under that guideline? Like, let's say my family owns a house in Florida. I go out to Florida and I come back. Should I quarantine myself for 14 days? Are we still under those kind of presumptuous, guidelines or something of that nature? Because I know that there's different reports of, because they've opened up, they've opened up way before we have, in phases like Georgia, Florida, Texas, where we're getting reports of numbers that are spiking and historic numbers of positive COVID tests per day. So I was wondering about that.
So yes, as you know, the numbers in Florida, because of the way in which they opened, they were not in Florida as cautious as we are in Massachusetts. And so there are definitely counties in Florida that are increasing as far as their cases are concerned. It would be my recommendation, if you are in Florida and one of those counties where the cases are increasing and community spread is prevalent, I would recommend that you do, when you come back to the city of Springfield, consider quarantining for those 14 days. You don't want to be a part of community spread, certainly for you and your family. So out of caution, I would recommend you do that. Again, when you get to Florida, check the data around the county that you are visiting and how many cases there are there and how prevalent is community spread.
No, I appreciate that. I just didn't know if we were, yeah, I don't plan on going anywhere, but it's just in case. I have some family members that like to travel or some friends that I've seen that, taking advantage of the fact that, it's warm again, it's hot, and people like to get out and catch a little break. So essentially going into these different hot spots on how, coming back, obviously, we're not contact tracing folks leaving the district and coming back into them from these different hot areas, but it was just a question in my mind that, and I just wanted to say that it was a successful food drive and that Springfield was in the building. Our deputy Joe DeMarco, I think it's DeMarco, he was here and he was a part of the food drive, and I'm looking forward to working with Joe and doing the food drive stuff. And I want to thank you for assisting him. He told me much of the help that you assisted him in making the things that he's working on work. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, and thank you for the work that you're doing on behalf of our veterans. It's appreciated.
Thank you, Councilor Gomez. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick question for Tom. Tom, I'm glad to see that the city is moving forward with the outdoor dining, and apparently that's going very well. I was a little surprised that at least in Forest Park, as far as I know, nobody's taking advantage of that. There hasn't been any application submitted. Can you comment a little what's going on throughout the city on that particular front on the outdoor dining?
Yeah, so it's going very well up to this point. Counselor, we were surprised. I guess I'm a little surprised about Forest Park not reaching out, although there's limitations in terms of space and availability of space for outside dining. Some places are certainly more limited than others, so we're aware of that. But places that are open, a couple of places that I've been to, it's smooth. It takes a little getting used to. It's not the same as it always has been, but the effort to allow these businesses to open, even if it's on a partial basis, is positive. And so we're happy to have provided them with an opportunity to open up and to prepare for hopefully the day sometime soon when they can open up the inside of their restaurants as well. But up to this point, it's been going very well.
But now my understanding, there's no fee for applying, right?
Pardon?
There's no fee for the application?
No fee for the application. The only fees would be if they were extraordinary asks, like if you were putting up a tent somewhere, and that would be a normal procedure anyway. But there's no application fee for outside dining.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Yep.
Are there any other questions from the council?
Mr. President, I have just information I want to pass on, but I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Before you inform us of that information, are there any other questions of the council for the Situation Room? Seeing none, this is a reminder that we will not meet next week. We are going to a bi-weekly schedule, so we'll meet 2 weeks from now. And Susan, I think you're listening on the call, but I will send you an email to confirm that time. And Commissioner, thank you, and Tom, thank you. Councilor Allen, the floor is yours, and you'll wrap us up.
Yeah, just a piece of info. We've wondered about the school openings and stuff, and I teach at Springfield College. I just want to pass on the memo that came out from the president yesterday. Obviously, there's a lot of details, but the schedule at Springfield College has been advanced. So instead of starting classes the week of Labor Day, we're starting on Monday, August 31st. And the semester goes until Thanksgiving. And when kids go home for Thanksgiving, they don't come back. So what's left of the semester, teaching-wise, after Thanksgiving will be remote. And there may be some remote along the way, but and then finals will be remote kind of thing. So the students basically leave for Thanksgiving on Friday, November 20th, and then they won't be back, till the second semester a couple months later. So just wanted people to know that. I think UMass is doing that as well, but that's all I know. Anyway, just wanted to pass that on.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Thank you to all my colleagues on the call. You guys have an excellent day. Short and sweet.
Stay
Thank you.
safe,
Thank
counselors.
you.
Good night.
Thank you.